Facebook decided to go live this time, so I think we're good there.
Oh, yeah.
YouTube up. All right, we are live on everything.
All right. Welcome to the 034 Motorsport live Q&A, episode 79.
79, yep.
We're good.
Getting up there. Gonna die soon.
Oh boy.
I hope not.
Jeez.
Well,
I mean, average.
We're past the average now.
Yeah.
turn.
As always, this is a live Q&A session, an AMA style Ask Us Anything. I'm Javad Shadzi, and this is Nate Stewart. I'm the CEO and founder of 034 Motorsport, and Nate is the head of engineering here at the company, and certainly all things software and tuning here. As always, you know, general automotive questions, 034 Motorsport products and services. If you like us, if you hate us, we'll give you a no BS response, no matter what.
Yeah.
So yeah, put your questions into whichever format of choice, and then we will do our best to respond to them. We have a couple questions in already, and I don't think we had many left over from last week. So hopefully you've been enjoying our meme blast. Some people
Not getting you too salty.
Some people have gotten very upset. I received an email from a gentleman stating that he will never become our customer because we've made too many memes. And
That's just...
yeah, I was like, I'm really sorry about that. You know, we do have some of the best products and services on the market, and you know, it'd be a shame if you didn't experience those because you don't like memes. And also, like, what's wrong with you if you don't like memes? I don't know. That's kind of like the 2021 version of being a Grinch, is you just don't like memes.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't have a sense of
It's
humor.
a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just...
Frankly, I like memes. I will never stop making them. I love looking at them.
If you don't like them, you're welcome to ignore them.
Yeah.
It's not being forced upon you in any way.
I mean, speaking of memes, I'd like to compliment Stavros Tassoladikas for his memes. Always amusing. He shares a lot of good memes on his Facebook stories. So, also how I said his last name is a meme. Apparently.
Someone already commented they literally ordered because of the meme.
Yeah,
Right.
see?
Well, and that's the flip side is, you know, so far 2 people don't like memes, and presumably tends of thousands.
At least
if-
4
if-
people like them.
I mean, just the number of engagements. No, I mean our Instagram engagement is like really through
No,
the roof. It's at least
these are
7.
all generated by, you know, us here. We have a sense of humor.
Yes.
We're very self-aware, self-deprecating sense of humor as well. So
We make them. Sometimes they poke fun at us. Sometimes they poke fun at you.
the industry or
Yeah, and in some cases they clearly state our position using, you know, metaphors and imagery and analogy. So one of my favorites that we've done was the iceberg meme.
that was good. I actually really like that
Yeah,
one.
and you know, at the top we could have put a number of things. We put world record, you know, quarter mile times. We could have put slick marketing. We could have put
Meme generation.
you know, yeah, memes. But what you get from us is really what you actually get is beneath the surface, and it's not always visible. And so that's why we're here on the air, talking to you guys, giving you guys insights to behind what we do, which is the below the surface stuff. And it is a group of people here that care, that work really hard to create the best products and services, who strive to be honest and fair in business and commerce, and you know, who always do our best to seek the, you know, resolutions. So anyways, you know, that's below the surface, and then of course the engineering, the R&D, the testing, the resources, the investments that we're making. You know, we do reinvest the majority of the money the company makes back into the business to generate more new products and services. So we got some questions coming in here. Let's get this one out of the way. I saw a post on Facebook about B9 P34s having a fitment issue. Yeah, so we've had 2 reported cases of customers who said that they couldn't get it to fit properly. Of course, the first report came in on Sunday morning, and throughout the day on Sunday there was another one. And there's a thread somewhere about this that we've been responding to. So we're looking into it today. It's 11 a.m. So engineering is getting a car, and we're pulling some parts, and we'll do some test fitting. We'll figure it out. I mean, we always stand behind our products and services. There's no question there. Obviously, hopefully nobody's questioning that. Although someone did accuse us of covering this up, which I'm talking about it here on our Facebook Live, so I don't think we're trying to cover it up. And there are public Facebook posts. And frankly, there's actually no way we can cover anything up. It's a free country, and anyone can go post on.
Yeah, we don't have like this authoritarian control of like internet media that's out there. Like,
no, I mean, what was that? What was that one social media that got taken down for like conservative terrorism? What was that called?
Oh, I
can't even remember.
It's gone now. It got deleted.
Okay. Well, you can't post there.
Yeah.
So it's a free country, but not that free. But on Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or whatever, you could post about it. So we there's actually no way for us to cover anything up. The only and best option for us is to jump on it and figure out what's wrong. That's kind of hard for us to do on a Sunday, but certainly Monday morning
we're already on it.
We're on it 100%. So we will get to the bottom of that, and if there's any issues and we think that you need to know, we'll let you know. And certainly if you are a customer who's had any issue related to any of our products, much less our intake, please contact us. Contact at 034motorsport.com. There was one thread where some people were like, yeah, I had the same problem, but I didn't say anything, and I'm upset. And they were just like mad disgruntled and hadn't contacted us. So that blows our minds. We're expecting that if anyone isn't 100% satisfied with anything they get from us, that they will contact us for resolution. And that's our expectation. That's certainly what we offer.
It's called Parlor.
Parlor.
Yes.
I don't know why I was thinking barn door, like all the other Western stuff.
I think that's the new one that Trump's making. Barn door. I know he is supposedly rolling out a new one.
Bramble.
That will turn the world upside down. What with the advanced launch control, is the cruise control still usable, or is it totally for setting the launch?
Well, that would be terrible.
Yeah, that would.
No. This so like on our B8s and some other applications we're rolling out, the cruise control is used to adjust and set your launch control, modes and or launch RPMs and kind of things at a stop. Once you're rolling, everything goes back to OEM. The cruise control functionality is completely normal. That would be terrible if we just deleted the cruise control function of your car. So it's only used. We kind of listen to the cruise control inputs while the vehicle is stopped, and then outside of that, it's all operating as normal. And actually, it's operating as normal even when it's stopped. If you've got a car that shows like your cruise set points and your cruise mode and all that, you'll still see all that move up and down as you move it, while your launch control settings are changing. So we don't interfere with the stock functionality at all for the cruise.
Maybe this guy's like a bodybuilder where he can like bench 4 times more, but he can't scratch his back anymore. These kind of compromises.
Oh, you get one thing and you don't you lose another, right? Yeah. No, this compromise is not really a compromise. We do get the questions of, hey, I just flashed my car and my fans are on now. That's the biggest compromise that we usually have to deal with.
Thanks to the magic of programming, you can set conditions at which certain things function and don't function. Is this still a thing? The pops and bangs?
Yeah, in all caps too.
That was the thing.
That's exactly how I was posted.
Is he on the live chat right now?
Yeah, he's on Instagram right now.
Is he the one that thought that we purposefully made memes to make fun of him?
I believe that was an assumption that was made.
Okay. So I'd like to speak to you, sir. Do we know what his name is?
Yeah, I can give you.
I don't have to out him. It's fine. I won't out.
It's obviously in the.
So your feedback has been noted. We would never make memes to make fun of one customer. So generally, I think a meme would have to offend at least 100 or 200 customers minimum, or thousands preferably. But no, we don't make. That's not something that we would do. We actually respect your feedback. That file doesn't have as much pops and bangs as it could, and so we are revisiting. Again, we take customer
I
feedback.
don't think he has to even. Let's state the question first.
He says, so this was typed into the.
Yeah, this is how exactly.
So all in caps. So when am I going to get those pops and bangs on my stage 291 octane file for my B8.5? I even straight piped my car yesterday. Hardly any pops. When do the B8s get the Dynamic Plus feature? Okay, well, like that, same difference. We're looking into it, and we can increase the pops and bangs in that tune. And so it's been a few days, I think, since we've heard from you, maybe a week. So these things do take time. If we could just increase the pops and bangs in 1 or 2 days, then probably everybody would be having pops and bangs, and they don't.
Our crackle knob product.
Yeah. But hang in there. Please don't be upset.
Oh, Nick just joined in on Instagram.
You use some patience. We would ask for some patience, and let us evaluate this, and we can probably do more of what you'd like. Maybe not as much.
Work with us. We want to get you what you want, and of course, if we advertise and or state that it's something you're going to get it. We're not here to just pull a fast one on you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, no offense. Throwing a huge tantrum is probably not the best way to get things in life. Yeah. And that doesn't just go with us. It goes with everything. So, if you take a level-headed approach, you give us feedback, we will listen to it. And if we spend less time dealing with you on social media, maybe we could have more time to actually do what you want.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to discount it. It's a feature, some people want, but pops and bangs, crackles. It's one of those things. It's only a cosmetic feature. So it's not something that we're gonna mission critical have to drop everything for because it's some.
Well, it's not
some functional issue, functional problem with the calibration.
A lack of crackles does not constitute an emergency response from our perspective. Right. However, if it's a feature that customers want, and we do have broad-based feedback that it needs more, then that's certainly something we take seriously and we take into account. And but yeah, it doesn't get the same kind of priority as something that could damage someone's car or leave them stranded or cause them severe drivability
performance reductions or anything like that, where it's a real world measurable effect on the product.
I'd like to know more. Okay, so hopefully,
we're working on it. We'll be there for you. We're not going anywhere.
No, and we do the crackles on our other tunes. So, and the meme that you thought was about you, I actually made that like 4 days before you said anything. And sorry, it's really funny.
I believe he's left alive and he's commenting on our Instagram posts. I don't think he's watching at the moment.
So he just dropped a bomb and ran away.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why don't you tell him to come back and
we'll reach out.
Yeah. Okay.
You can link this. Pull out this section. Make a section for him, like a clip out on YouTube.
Just for him.
We will do anything for our customers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Almost anything. It's like that meatball song. I'd like to know more about how EA839 engines control oil temp. Does the ECU modify oil temp target based on weather driving conditions?
I mean, I'm going to globally say yes, it will modify the way things are targeted based on ambient temperatures and conditions. I'd have to go dig deep in and see exactly which, what parameters are being used and to what extent on these, in the real world. But
as to like what temp it's controlling,
what temp it's targeting to, like where, how does it, control and maintain those temperatures at given ambient conditions. So, all that's modeled and controlled, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head for something like that.
Do you know when your UK dealers will have stock of the X34 intake and X34 air scoop? Is this SQ5?
Do you know what model?
I'm going to go ahead and assume that this is MQB based on air scoop.
Okay, well, I don't know what intake is being discussed here, but please contact our UK dealers.
Yeah.
They are the best ones to ask this question. Not that we would reveal their purchasing private purchasing information here anyways. But you may want to contact Awesome and see what their plan is. They generally stock a lot of our products, and they generally stock our product line. Now, our brand new products, as they're released, can take take a while to show up, because right now everything intakes, we're shipping tons of intakes, but not nearly as many as we need to be. And so, yeah, contact them, and they're the best ones. And then certainly, if you'd like to buy one of our products from them, that also helps to tell them. Will the dogbone mount take away the wheel hop I have under launch, Audi S3? Nothing will necessarily take it all away, but yes, the dogbone mount will help reduce it.
Yeah, it generally dramatically reduce. Well, it depends on the source of the hop, but yes, if it's a stock dogbone or a stock insert,
our inserts
they do
with the
dramatically
dogbone
Yep.
will help that. A lot of the wheel hop is generated by this excess bouncing compliance in the drivetrain, and so you get a force, and it's almost like a rubber band, and it loads up, and then it bounces back, and then this whole thing just kind of.
But to say
cycles.
any product would eliminate it would be just wrong. It helps reduce it for sure, but there's gonna be compliance in the entire system somewhere.
Yeah.
And right down to the tire itself is a compliant device. So it's really going to depend on your tires, the track, the surface you're launching on, and how it's being launched. But it will absolutely help for sure.
B8.5 S4. Any need to upgrade the center drive shaft bearing support? I see it for a lot of platforms, but nothing from 034 for the B8. Right. So there's no need to upgrade. If anyone tells you need to upgrade your drive shaft support bearing, I think they're making things up. There's really no benefit to stiffening that up.
Yeah,
it's not
from
a
a performance version or a.
It doesn't contribute to performance at all. We sell a whole line of them as replacements for the factory ones that fail.
Yeah, and to be clear, upgrading versus maintaining are two very different things.
Now, the problem with the B8 and the B8.5 is they have a drive shaft that's not serviceable. So there's no way to split the drive shaft and slide the bearing off like you can on all the older models. And this is probably something we're going to see. I haven't looked. I don't think we've looked at the B9 yet, but it's probably so. At one point, we looked into redoing and creating a whole new drive shaft and selling that with a new bearing in it for anyone that fails. And we scrapped that project because there was like a couple different drive shafts, and it was going to be a pain.
Yeah, and we've done other designs where it's a multi-piece, shell over the bearing. We don't have a product yet for that application.
I believe there is someone who is selling. So I don't necessarily want to advertise for them, but there are some products.
There's some aftermarket stuff out there
that you can replace. Yep. Like Nate says, it's you.
You leave the bearing stays there.
You cut out all the rubber.
Yep.
And the bearing, you don't replace the bearing, which in many cases is what fails. And then there's like this new clamshell kind of clamps around it. But again, unless it's failed, there's absolutely no reason to do anything. How are you liking the new AY-S3? What areas do you think it needs improvement compared to the AV? Yeah, so we just got the brand new S3 on Thursday, and I took it for the weekend, and I drove it up into the mountains, and kid tested it, 4 kids, and it's a really nice car. Really enjoying it right out of the box. It's a really good performing car. I don't remember what the AV S3 was like back when we got that. That was like 5 years ago. But this car is very nice, very quick, good handling car. But I will say that the most impressive thing about it so far has been the tech.
The tech package. It's
a whole new echelon.
Finally, they went to a current / industry leading, I'd say, tech package on these things.
It's really nice.
Audis in general, especially the 3s and 4s, are not known to be like the most tech loaded.
It always felt like Audi was behind, even Volkswagen. Like
They've always been behind Volkswagen. Yeah.
my poor kids, you know, they get in. I don't know what's the last car I had them in. They're like touching the screen. It's like, guys, it's not
like
a touch
the B9s. Oh, well, up until the B9.
Oh, the B9 RS5. You know,
there's
it's
no
like
touch screens. There's no
a $95,000 car and it doesn't have touchscreen.
Yeah.
But a $30,000 GTI does. But the tech package is really nice. It has wireless inductive charging. You just stick your phone into the hole there, and it just connects seamlessly.
wireless CarPlay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It connects through Wi-Fi.
Yep, MMI is great.
Takes over your Wi-Fi. Very intuitive, easy to use. Very very nice. But yeah, the car could definitely use more power. We will definitely be doing all of our Dynamic Plus upgrades for it. All of our inserts and various mounts and springs and sway bars. Really beautiful, good-looking car. Has a ton of tire. It comes with 265s stock, I think.
No,
They're not. I thought they were something like that.
Nope. It's like the same as factory.
235.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it? Oh, I thought they were bigger than that. It has such big fenders on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see how much tire we can squeeze under it, but really cool car. So yeah, there'll be more, and it's just this is kind of one of the cars that we'll be using for the MQB Evo developments. So Volkswagen, and we'll be getting a GTI as well, but a lot of those products will be test fitting, and we've already been doing development on this platform with our partners Racing. So, but now we have a US car here.
US spec.
Yeah. Definitely the sound. It like sounds like a 4.0 T kind of. It's kind of bizarre. So, is it a valved exhaust?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
The sound actor sounds like a 5-cylinder for whatever reason.
To me, it sounds like a 4.0 T. Just kind of like it just sounds like it's revving lower and beefier than it really is. 4-cylinder. 5-cylinders sound really good. Do you like the way it sounds? I thought you said you didn't like it.
I don't dislike it horrifically, but I want to turn it off.
It sounded like a 5-cylinder though. Probably want to keep it.
Not terrible.
I'll just reflash it with the RS sound activator.
Dude. Now you're thinking,
Get your 5-cylinder on.
is that our next tune out?
Can we flash it with something cool like a Ferrari V10 or something? Like V12?
Like, oh, V12.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
conflicting.
mean, if you're going to make it sound like something, make it sound like something good. Can we just make it sound like an electric car? Let's go.
Jetsons.
Will the 93 octane tune ever be coming for DAZA?
Yep. For the 2020 RS3.
Yeah.
So the 2020 models, yes, we are going through those. Hopefully, we'll be getting those up in the
Because we have it for the
future.
earlier ones.
Yep. So yes, it is coming.
It's not a huge difference.
It's not a huge difference.
It's a small bump.
It's a pretty minor change from 91.
Hey guys, can you tell us when to expect rods for the B8 S4 S5, and will 600 be achievable? We don't have a due date for those. We are currently working and developing on those on that product. It's the kind of thing I'd like to say like by middle of next year we'll have out. We will be able to increase the torque holding limit of that motor substantially over stock with rods. So yeah, I mean, I think I don't know how much power there's left.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, that motor. It's tricky with the. Yeah,
I mean, thankfully there's not a ton of
the stock supercharger is not really twisting rods at this point. So.
No, it's not a torquey motor in the lower band like a turbo would be. So because of the progressive nature boost curve of the supercharger, it naturally just keeps the torque low where it would normally be highest, where the volumetric efficiency is highest, say like around 3,500 RPM or so. Much bigger issue on the B9 3.0 T turbo.
Yes, yeah, the turbo motors
where the turbos can produce tremendous amounts of boost at a very low RPM, but the supercharger linked to the crankshaft, so the crankshaft speed determines supercharger speed, unlike the turbo.
Yep.
So turbos are actually much better in that regard.
Kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
But you make up for it with lag. It's the compromise. There's always a compromise. Can I get stage 2 93 octane for the Mark 7 GTI? I only see 91 on the site.
That's going to, I mean, we keep talking about this, the MQB stuff. We are going to be updating a lot of those files. I don't have a definite ETA, but again,
And we're actively working.
we're actively working on them. But again, the difference between the 91 and the 93 file is really pretty minimal.
It's a pretty small amount.
And honestly, there's quite a few of those have 93 on them, I think, on the server.
Yeah, check the server to see.
If you're hinging a purchase on it, give us a buzz. We'll check for you. But chances are good there's already a 93 file up for you.
Yeah. But there's going to be lots of new updates,
Yeah.
which will be mostly free.
Yep.
You know, when those come out. What's the lowering height for your B9 S4 springs? I don't know. It's on the
website. Nick's putting it in right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Beat me to it.
All right.
0.9 inch.
Come on. Take this.
We know what's a lowering.
Come on.
There you go.
We know all around.
Yes.
Okay. So we advertise 0.9 front and rear. But you know that varies from car to car and from spring to spring. But generally, yeah, it's just a little less than an inch.
It's all on our website, as with all of our spring products. We typically will put both expected drop, and the actual rates, which is kind of unheard of in this industry. So
Yeah. Will the TCU tune for the B9 be out before New Year's?
yes, yep. This is
What
the stage 2 B9 TCU file.
What are some of the features or updates that are being worked on?
I think these are two questions for the next B9 tune. So one's TCU, one's ECU.
No.
No, for this is all TCU.
Oh, TCU. Okay. So TCU, we've remapped a bunch of the shift points, shift speeds.
It's our world record in running.
It's
strategy.
The AMAX strategy. So the maximum acceleration mode of the TCU is revised to better accommodate the stock turbo
for all gears.
And it retains AMAX all the way through the quarter. That's gonna be the vast majority of it. I mean, it's a TCU tune, so you adjust how it shifts, how fast it shifts, and where it shifts. That's kind of your
faster shift speeds, also more power delivered through the shift event. So there is, from when the car starts to shift to when it's done shifting and in the next gear, there is a power delivery throughout that we've optimized, which makes the car faster. And then the speed of the shift is also reduced as well.
Speed increased.
It's a weird.
Don't shift speed.
It will shift faster.
Yes. There you go. The amount of time it takes for the shift event to happen is shorter, but also more power is delivered through that.
As a follow-up, will the TCU be out for the B8.5 ZF8 before Christmas or New Year? Yes. We are wrapping up the advanced launch stuff on that literally in the next couple days now. So, yes, stay tuned. We're going to have advanced launch on the ZF8 for the B8, the SQ5s and like A6, A7 stuff, 3-liter motors in the next weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. All I want for Christmas is my SQ5 with ZF8 launch control.
You're getting it.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. I know your tunes are safe, but let's say you find yourself having a fight for warranty coverage with a dealer who wants to deny your warranty claim. Got any pro tips or talking points for that? Yeah, so legally, the onus is on the dealer to prove that your modification caused the failure. And this is known as the Moss-Magnuson Warranty Act. Usually you have to escalate past the dealer to Audi themselves, to corporate. A lot of times, just from a customer service standpoint, Audi will honor it or reverse the decision because they want you to be happy. But I would say if you have a tune on your car and you blow the engine, then you're SOL. I mean, you're not.
Kinda, it's going to be a tough fight. They're just going to say, well, it's changed. We don't know what's changed.
But if it's flashed and you have some other known warranty issue that lots of other cars and people have been having, even on stock cars, so we had this when I bought our 8V S3, and the car happened to be had bone stock tuning because we weren't doing the tuning for those cars at the time. However, the car was heavily modified with all of our chassis and handling parts. And I was on the way back from Laguna Seca, and the turbo blew. The standard MQB IS38 blown turbo issue that cars driving off the dealership lots had. And so I took it to the dealer to get it fixed under warranty, and they said, well, your car's been modified. We looked underneath it, blah, blah, blah. Some bolts have been removed, and you have sway bars and this and that. And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with blowing the turbo, which is a known factory issue, and there's a TSB out for it? So I argued with them for a while, and because the car had never been tuned or flashed, I was able to win with the service manager that I was dealing with, because he had absolutely zero leg to stand on. If the car had been flashed or had a tune on it,
it's gonna be a lot harder.
If it had a tune on it, I don't know if the flash count had changed. That's a pretty weak argument from their point of view. Not every car has a set number of flashes on it. But
and to be clear, any flash counters are a sticking point for a lot of people. Those flash counters will get incremented even if it's an OEM update or a independent facility is doing software updates. Those will get incremented. So it's really tough for them to say, yeah, you had a modified file because your flash counters are this or that.
You have a lot of deniable plausibility with flash counts. But if you take it to the dealer with a tune on it and you have a blown turbo, they're gonna deny it, and they'll be
And just
they'll have
so to be clear, there are other companies that offer a drivetrain warranty with their software. The dealer is still going to deny the claim. It's up to that third party provider to then step in and decide to honor the claim or not.
That's right. It's just an aftermarket warranty, like all the phone calls you get every day.
So just so you know, your car will still get TD1'd, which is a tuning detection, whatever, through Audi or Volkswagen. Then you just have to deal with the warranty process through this other entity.
But like you said, our tunes don't hurt engines. They don't blow turbos. So
coming back around, we do everything we can to.
The best way for us is to make sure that you don't have those problems. But you could still have factory related problems, and that's when you just have to flash back to stock and take it in and fight that battle. They'll sometimes fight it even if the car is bone stock. I mean,
well, that's what we ran into in our
these dealerships.
It was literally never been flashed. Turbo decided to check out.
But that Moss Magnuson Act is there, and there is an onus on the dealer to connect the modifications plausibly to any kind of failure. That's good news.
Yeah, 'cause there were dealers that were denying, like, you got aftermarket anything, wheels, sway bars, and they were trying to walk out of any warranty claims at that point.
In regards to the B8.5 S4 platform, what are your thoughts on the throttle body inlet hose versus the traditional cold air intake in terms of dollar performance gains for a stage 1 tuned vehicle?
Throttle body inlet hose. Oh, okay.
They're talking about super duper versus just an.
Well, no, I think they're asking for so we've got the stock hose replacement.
Yeah, you're right.
Versus a full intake. So on the B8 S4, if you have a stock airbox or B8.5 S4, the stock airbox is a restriction even at stage 1, or even at stock power levels. Honestly, we've instrumented up the stock airbox. It is a pretty massive restriction even at stage 1 power. So yeah, you will get more power out of a freer flowing intake drive.
Yeah, if you install our S34 intake, there's no restrictions, zero. Yeah. Like it's like having no intake.
Yeah, it is basically as low of a pressure drop we could measure. Yeah. Whether there was an intake on or not.
If you'd like to accept some higher amounts of restriction, then you can kind of try to mess with the stock stuff. And I know people will. I mean, we sell a lot of our silicone throttle body hoses.
Yeah.
and people will go in the stock air box and put a different filter on.
Filters, or they're modify the
They'll
box.
cut holes in it and stuff. But none of that stuff's going to come close to our, I think right now it's $330 on sale. Nothing's going to even come close to that. And that's just,
Last day, so.
and it is the last day of the sale. But that's just stupid cheap to ensure that you have no intake restriction at all. Up to like as high of a horsepower you can make on a 3.0.
And going to be carb
Yeah.
exempt.
And carb exempt. So, which your modified factory airbox isn't technically.
Right.
Not that you'd ever have an issue with it. But, can we get a burble-tune menu like BMWs have, where we can select the level of aggressiveness for crackles?
Crackle knob.
That's what the meme was.
It really is. Short answer, no. That is built into the MMI. There are literally menus and routines and functions implemented in multiple other modules to enable some selection of that. That's not going to happen on across the board on a platform like this. You'd need to be able to implement new menus into the MMI system or the dash, which is just outside. None of that is controlled by the ECU. Literally, it's completely independent of the ECU, and it's probably just sending a little message to the ECU saying, "Hey, this mode's been selected." That's it.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, nobody in Volkswagen Audi is doing that.
No, that would be especially for something that, again, sorry, crackle guys, that cosmetic. There's very little.
Someone in the BMW world spent the time.
Yeah, at an OEM level, it's way easier. You got everything there. You can add menus. You can set it up however you want. So yes, the OEMs can choose to put that stuff in, with far less overhead, what it would take to reverse engineer it and then implement it across the board.
I will say some of the BMWs, I've heard the crackles are they're fucking aggressive.
Oh God, yeah, some of the
Like,
things out there are
insane.
Yeah, no, it's like Well, even from stock, some are, but yeah, the aftermarket likes to dive into
you
12.
could get canceled aggressive. Yeah, that's pretty. So yeah. Is it possible to get those optimized shift points for roll racing on B9 Stage 2 TCU or only from a launch?
They're going to be changed in any of the sport or dynamic modes. So that's going to be assuming like sport or dynamic, you want the car to be as fast as possible. So those optimized shift points are going to be, in place for any of those modes. So yeah, it's going to work just like it would from a launch as far as where it's going to shift. Yep.
What are your thoughts on the future of automotive modifications as we move into electric vehicles where mostly just suspension aesthetics can be changed? No intakes, potentially no tunes, etc. Okay, well, a lot of what you said is just not correct. Now, yes, electric cars don't have intakes.
That part's true.
Electric cars do have ECUs
They have
that
tuners.
control, how the electric motor functions. And so tuning is absolutely possible and will be a huge thing. It's not with Tesla because the way Tesla went to market is the cars are completely locked down and they have complete control over the cars.
I'd say that's true as far as I know currently. Not to say someone can't get around that at some point in time, but
No one has yet.
that would be.
But I think that's what's created this perception until now is that
Tesla's not alone in that world either. There are other manufacturers that are doing over the air updates now.
but that's not the issue. In Europe, you can turn off over there.
And that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's something that's
You cannot do that with a Tesla.
It sounds big and scary, but usually there's, so far at least, like in Europe where privacy is like a thing.
With Tesla, it's big and scary, and then nobody's doing it. And that doesn't mean that Volkswagen, Audi, or Porsche or BMW will be the same.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't. Once the engineering gets more mainstream, there will be workarounds and vulnerabilities and hacks for a lot of these protections. So I think what your point was, Nate, is that at some point someone will unlock a Tesla.
Yeah.
And Tesla won't be able to do anything about it. And then it's kind of like, jailbreaking your iPhone. So it's going to happen. But certainly all the handling, braking, suspension modifications will be there. Electric cars have big issues with cooling. I was looking at something over the weekend where Ford has taken one of their E-Mach Mustangs and turned it into a race car. And the radiators in the front of that thing would make any internal combustion engine jealous. There was substantial, big, thick, full like Chevy 350 radiators in the front of that thing, and that's just to cool, the voltage controllers and inverters and the battery pack
packs, yep.
and the motor itself. So there's a ton of cooling required. And the amount of power that the battery packs can generate is directly related to heat. The amount of power they create is related to heat. So there's a lot about electric cars that you don't know yet, that we don't know yet, that will be coming. But those cars will present plenty of opportunity for modification, and we're 100% prepared for that. The reality is, internal combustion is going to dominate vehicles and performance for certain for at least another 5 or 10 years. And you'll start to see manufacturers adding more models, but the volume of cars they sell, internal combustion will still be huge. Not to mention all the cars on the road. We just bought a brand new Audi internal combustion vehicle, and those will be selling for at least 3 or 4 more years. And then those cars will be on the road and being modified for the next 5 to 15 years.
At least, right.
So 034 Motorsport and the companies that compete with us, we will be heavily focused on internal combustion engines for at least another 10, 15 years. But we will start adding
you'll see more and more
products as well.
You'll see more and more electrified products coming.
So we have a little project in-house to GTI-ify an e-Golf. And that's going to be a really fun project. We're basically going to make an e-Golf, handle and have the performance of a GTI, but with the electric powertrain. So there's some fun stuff coming. I don't buy into that it's the death of performance, it's the death of automotive. Electric cars will be and can be exciting. They already are. It's just unfortunately it's just dominated by Tesla. And
for the exciting part, yeah.
So that's coming from all the manufacturers.
Yeah, but I mean, there's more. There's a Taycan out now. There's the e-tron GT. There's a lot more fun stuff coming.
It's here, and there's a lot more coming. So it'll be cool once Audi, Volkswagen, BMW, whatever, start releasing really fun, quick, sporty, $35,000-$40,000 electric cars.
When you do like ES3s out there, where it's a performance-oriented, smaller sedan.
That will be really fun, and we'll be able to. We can modify the battery pack. We can modify various electrical components.
Right. It'll be. I foresee a future where you take the S3 or the S3 version of the controllers or batteries or motors, and you're doing component upgrades.
Do higher horsepower,
just like you do like an IS38 into a one turbo, an S3 turbo into a GTI or something.
You do a motor swap. All that's going to be a thing. So don't discount all that stuff. The biggest issue is you might electrocute yourself. So
that's a challenge.
Be careful with that.
Yep. There's some new working measures that are going to be become normal.
Tons of questions.
Yeah, we're getting busy.
Yeah. This is nice note. Hey, Mike Johnson here of Rennwerks and Sprint Motorsports. James Osborn and I are thrilled to see your continued success from one local to another. Keep it up. Javad and the 034 crew, we love your products.
Thanks,
awesome. Man. Thank you. Known James for a long time, and glad to see you guys are still doing your thing too. James started this. Honestly, I didn't think it would last, but apparently it's still a thing. The DIY or die, where you can just take your car there and work on it. So, amazing job.
It's a really cool concept.
Amazing job pulling that up
for a hobby, enthusiast that needs a real shop with real tools and real service.
A lot of our customers use it too,
Menu bar
and our employees go down there too. So good stuff. And of course we both know how hard it is to keep things going and to be in the business for this long. So it's not an easy thing. Recommended modification order for B9 S4 platform. Springs, sway bars, intake, trans insert, stage 1. I guess it depends what you're looking for, but I think a tune is for most people the most obvious thing.
Yeah, you want to feel instantly what you just put on the car. Flash it, and go rip around.
These cars handle pretty well stock. I mean, you're not going to die if you put stage 1 on. I think there used to be cars out where it's like
it doesn't make the thing scarier.
if you add 60 horsepower to it, you could die.
Yeah.
The brakes are fine, and but I would say once you do the flash and you get that big bang for the buck, then you're really going to start noticing that the car needs better handling.
Yep.
I would say do springs and sway bars at the same time. It's a relatively small cost increase to do both. If you have to do just one, do the springs first, then go back and do sway bars. Intake is a simple thing you can install yourself over the weekend. And then the transmission insert, that's a quick and easy one. It's cheap, and it's easy thing to do yourself, or you can have a shop do it. While they're changing your oil in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would start with that stuff. But the tuning is gonna transform the car's acceleration, and the springs and sway bars will make it handle pretty much like a completely different car. And then after you've done all that, I would suggest the front camber arms to dial in some camber, and that's gonna be a huge shift in the way the car drives and handles as far as steering response, turn in, and grip. The corner grip you get from adding even a degree of camber in the front is just astounding.
Yep.
What can I expect from your downpipes for B9 RS5 stock tuning with an intake? So this is something we discuss internally here a lot. The power produced by high flow cats or downpipes is based on the tune,
Yes.
not the cat. So even if you put test pipes and you could somehow make that work with a stock tune, the factory ECU is controlling how much torque and power the motor produces, as Nate could tell you very, very well. So you could put on, like I said, you could straight pipe your car. It's still going to make about the same power as stock until you modify the tuning. And what happens there is we go in and we tell the ECU, produce more torque, allow more air to come in, allow more bangs and pops out the tailpipe, and make more power. And so that's where the power from high flow cats come in. So we have a hard time advertising the power of our high flow cats until we have the tuning, and this is a perennial issue.
It's almost every kind of airflow improvement product is that way. Where
intakes are the same.
Intakes are the same. Where they're devices that basically allow more performance, or if you're not going for more performance, will allow a more efficient running setup. So intakes in particular, if you don't have a tune but you put an intake on, you're probably not going to see that much of a change on a dyno. But what you're going to get is lower intake temps and a more consistent power delivery at more extreme conditions all the time, just because you're not working the turbo as hard. Your intake temps are going to be a little cooler. So, it's a tough thing to kind of quantify, with a hard horsepower number. I know lots of companies do that. But these are very torque controlled, systems from the factory.
So once we release our B9 RS5 Stage 2 tuning, you'll know based on
you'll see the difference that the calibration is done for the racing test pipe configuration versus the racing high flow catalyst configuration versus.
But in these cars, intakes and high flow cats are supporting modifications. They support the tuning to create a certain result. Without them, the tuning won't be able to do it. But the parts themselves don't create the power. The tune creates it, and they support the power. So then we're kind of left with these high flow cats will support up to X amount of horsepower, and the high flow racing cats we use, they'll probably support 400 or 500 horsepower each per. So you're looking at high flow cats that would support 800 to 1,000 horsepower with minimal restriction. So that's what the cats will do. I would say our B9 S4 racing cat will probably support 800 horsepower unrestricted.
And this is all talking things like, so we're speaking kind of broadly. Most everything we're talking about is all either going to be supercharged or turbocharged, where the ECU has a very tight control over the amount of air getting into the motor. NA motors, maybe you'll see a bump in power with an intake if there's a restriction there, just because the ECU is typically going to give you what it can. It's not going to shut the throttle to maintain like sub-ambient air pressures typically. But on these forced induction motors, the ECU's in complete control. Even on the supercharged motors, it's not giving you everything the supercharger can give, even all the way up through redline. So it's controlling the experience start to stop.
All right, let's move through some of these. Just purchased Stage 1 ECU and TCU for my B9 SQ5. What mod should I get next? If you do our intake and intercooler, you will be at 1+, which is about 75% of the way there to Stage 2, while still being, on all factory emissions. So that's what I would recommend as far as engine modifications would be our intake and a Wagner intercooler, which we list both on the website. And the intake is on sale for about 12 more hours. So you want to jump on that. Unless our web team decides it. All right. Will there be future revisions for E85 cold start on B9? I know we've worked on this a lot.
I think we will be.
We'll continue to
keep
refine
working
it.
on to make it more and more, seamless. In all conditions as possible. Of course, it's difficult to test until we hit those conditions. So, we're not done refining that at all.
Let's tackle this one real quick. Can you give us a quick overview of all or major platform acronyms you use? MQB, NADA,
He meant
etc. Oh, okay. EA888. Yeah. So MQB is Volkswagen Audi's world platform, and it covers basically A3s and variants, Golfs and variants.
It's
TTRS,
it's the Audi,
RS3.
Right, it's the Audi 3 chassis, and it's the Volkswagen, the Golf chassis.
Yeah. It happens to be a ton of cars, and it started at Mark 7, basically. There was a older version of that for Mark 5 and 6. And it continues now. Now it's referred to as MQB Evo, which is an evolution of MQB. It's not enough to call it a whole new one. It's very similar. So you'll see a lot of our products will transition over, and then some will require some tweaks, some changes.
So with the MQB platform, that was a very nice change that the Volkswagen Audi group did, where they wanted to standardize everything. I think it was from the firewall forward is identical across all of those. Anything that shares that platform, the parts will basically interchange freely. All of your constraints and your space considerations, for the most part, are going to be very similar or the same. So it really standardized their production and assembly lines, and then thankfully also easier for us to get products to you that cover a lot of these models.
All right, let's crank through these. We got DAZA, which is the engine code of the 5-cylinder in the 8S TTRS and 8B.5
for US
RS3 for
US and stuff.
EA888 is kind of one of the newer generation Volkswagen Audi 4-cylinder motors. EA888 started in what, like
2005?
No,
way later than that.
2008.
Well, which one are you talking? Because it's AAA Gen 1, Gen 2, and Gen 3.
Talking about Gen 1.
That's the EA113. Yeah, it was the Mark 6, the first Mark 6. It might have been in a TT and a Mark 5.
What was the valve lift motor?
That's Gen 2.
That's the Gen 2. So that's in the B8.5s.
So there's EA888.
I'm sure we're making this
Gen
very
2.
clear for you.
I mean, you can look up if you want to Google EA888.
Yeah, Wikipedia actually has a pretty good breakdown of some of these.
But then they've continued to just do different generations of that motor. EA839 is the new B9 3.0 T motor found in the S4, S5, SQ5. What's the RS5?
It's EA839.
Is it? Okay.
Different
All right.
thing.
This just has different turbos on it.
Yeah.
So
EA837 for B8.
Yeah.
3 liter. Then B8 is a chassis code.
Yeah, right. The B8 chassis code, but
well, then you've got all the chassis.
But those are different chassis codes. But they also have like the B9 is also the MLB chassis. So people the other thing is there's different standards that the industry also adopts that they name things by. So on the Mark 7, everybody instead of calling it Mark 7 started calling it an MQB because it crossed the A3 and Golf. But the B8s are an MLB or this it can be letter salsa very quickly.
it's we take it for granted that all these things make sense. Being new and coming into this hobby, and trying to pick up all that stuff, I'm sure would be
We're sorry,
daunting.
but there's a lot of different.
But after you're gonna pick it up if you spend enough time, reading. You're gonna pick it up. What's the best turbo upgrade for B9 RS5? We don't know. I doubt there is a best one, but we will be supporting the popular versions by Pure and TTE initially. I don't know. We've done some stuff with Loba. Their upgrades haven't been as aggressive or powerful lately as we'd like, so I'm not sure if we'll do anything with that. Generally, we're going to gravitate towards the turbos that the most people are interested in, and our tuning. We don't really make any money selling turbos. That's not a business for us. We make a little bit reselling, a turbo upgrade, but our business model is based on selling the tuning.
Yeah, so we want to support what you guys are putting on.
We don't really care which turbos you run, just as long as we can do the tuning. That's where our opportunity is. Have you ran into any issues with the B9 S4 engine while testing? Thoughts on long-term reliability? I don't believe we really have. That's a solid
single thing.
We had a throttle body go out.
So I was just going to talk about that. We had some wire harness issues.
Did it end up being the harness? Which, the throttle body?
It was actually more. It was the pin connections at the ECU were determined to be the.
So it wasn't the throttle body. That just happened to be a red herring.
It was the red herring, and then replacing the throttle. Yeah, we were getting a bunch of codes at one point for the throttle body. We swapped that out. They went away for some point in time, but then they came back a month later and traced it back. It was some. They use these new to the Volkswagen Audi group or whatever, but these micro pins on the ECUs in those cars, and repeated installation, removal, cycling of the connectors. They apparently are not very tolerant to that. So yeah.
Okay, but yeah, overall it's a solid motor.
Yeah.
No cost
for
concern.
We haven't had any issues.
2016 S3 switched over last week from APR Stage 1. I want to say I love the switch over to 034. Power is similar, but more linear throughout, and the TCU has immensely improved my car. Thank you.
That's exactly what
that's amazing to hear. Thank you for letting us know. That's why we do what we do. And the top one's done. All right. Any news on the front control arms for the TTRS 8S? Do the arms we're working on, will those fit the 8S? They should, right?
I think different.
That's I haven't looked at those in a little.
I don't know specific to TTRS. We are doing MQB arms with changed geometry, and we are currently waiting on our first forged samples, which should be here any day now. It's a product we'll probably release, Q2 2022. What do you guys think about Stage 2 B8 S4 on air suspension?
If that's what you want to run.
I mean, if you want to be able to dump your car and have the tires go inside the fenders and make hissing sounds, when you lower, and you want to be able to change your height up and down, then that's the only way to do it, right? Generally at 034, we're proponents of static, optimized statically tuned suspensions. Yes. Which B9 engine has more Stage 3 tuning potential, 3.0T or 2.9T? I don't think, we can say for sure, but honestly, I don't see what's holding the 3.0T back once you're talking hybrid turbo.
No,
they might put a big honking turbo on it.
Yeah, there might be some differences in some camshaft profiles here and there, but other than that,
I really think
be really similar.
The S4 may have the advantage because you can just put one big turbo, squeezing two smaller, turbos in that space may be limiting, but we don't know.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but it's a difficult thing to reiterate or remind people of. Two turbos doesn't mean more power. It's actually the opposite. So you generally end up with more frictional losses, more or less of an efficiency,
less thermal efficiency. Yeah, with two turbos. So yeah, one turbo can actually do everything that two turbos can do. Except be in two places at once. Right. So if you have limited packaging,
if there's a packaging constraint or your exhaust flow, is much better through two versus one, then you can see benefits. But
that makes sense why the factories went to two turbos on each side of the engine. It does simplify things a lot and creates kind of this nice symmetry in the engine compartment. But in these cars where they have the hot V's and the turbos are in the middle between the V's, having one bigger turbo may be the advantage. So it could even be like at some point we see RS5s going single turbo if it's actually better.
Yep.
So, but you know, and also, you know, that little extra displacement in the S4 doesn't hurt anything either. So, yeah.
But yeah, we haven't hit the limits of either. You know, as far as like a tear down on an RS5 motor as well to see if there's differences in rods and whatnot out of the box.
Yeah.
That's yet to be determined.
As far as shipping updates, we don't have that information. Shoot an email to contact@034motorsport.com, and we actually have staff ready and waiting to give you ETAs when those products will ship.
There's 13. After December 3rd. We're not doing ETA.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. We are.
It'll be next week.
Yeah, and in 2 weeks we'll start doing ETAs again. We're just swamped. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. We're swamped right now with just all kinds of customer service inquiries due to the Black Friday sale, which ends tonight at midnight. But yes, I think S34s are not shipping probably for at least another month. But I think there's an ETA on the website, isn't there? On the webpage.
We're looking early. It was quoted early December. We're getting updated ETAs as we speak.
Okay. Yeah, we will be updating the ETA. So if you want to just check that page for the next day or two, you'll see an update there. All right, everyone. I think that our time is up.
Yep.
It's been an hour. So thanks for joining us once again. And remember, our sale goes through today. And if you want to get in, anywhere from 8% up to 50% off on some products. But tuning's 10 to 20% off right now. So great time to jump in.
Yep.
All right. Cheers.
Okay.